This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins. Scott is off this noon. Our top story, a 25-year-old intelligence contractor is facing charges for leaking classified information about Russia's interference in last year's election. Janae Norman has the story.
President Trump promised to bring leakers to justice.
We're going to find the leakers. They're going to pay a big price for leaking.
And now, reality winner, a military veteran, NSA contractor, and part-time fitness instructor in Augusta, Georgia, is facing the possibility of serious prison time. She's accused of leaking this top-secret document from the National Security Agency to The Intercept. The document details a 2016 Russian military intelligence cyber attack on a U.S. voting software supply company, the most detailed account yet of Russian efforts to hack the November election.
My client's being used as a scapegoat for what could be considered a political agenda.
The Intercept is an online news source best known for publishing leaked documents on government activities provided by Edward Snowden. The organization insists the document came to them anonymously and they had no knowledge of the source's identity. An FBI affidavit shows investigators could tell by visible creases in the document that it was a printout hand-carried out of a secured space. They checked and found only 6 employees had printed that particular document, and the only one that had contact with The Intercept was Reality Winner.
This is amateur hour for not only the leaker, but also the news organization reporter. And then the reporter compromised the source and that document as far as where it came from.
That NSA analysis found Russian hackers sent phishing emails to more than 100 local election officials and emailed an election software company trying to gain remote control access over vendors' computers and then tried to spread that operation to local governments. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
New at noon, a new education campaign by Google to teach kids how to protect themselves on the internet. Details from our Jacqueline Matter. Jacqueline?
Good afternoon, Ray. The program, which was announced today, is called Be Internet Aware. Google has partnered with several online safety groups to teach kids the lessons needed to stay safe on the internet. That initiative is aimed at kids between the ages of 8 and 12 years old, many of them getting their first very own smartphones around that age that connects to the internet. For one parent I spoke with, he says keeping your kids safe is first a parent's responsibility, but he supports the corporate giant's efforts.
Bottom line is it rests with the parent to be monitoring their child. But as your child grows, you want to give them that independence. So I think if the company has a part in that, I think it's a good idea.
To make that experience more fun, Google developed a game called Interland to help teach kids the ins and outs of online safety. The company is also urging teachers to use elements of the program in their classroom curriculum. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. We are learning more about the Orlando man who returned to the awning plant where he used to work and killed 5 former colleagues yesterday. Orange County Sheriff deputies say this man, John Newman, had a plan when he walked into the plant and one by one shot 5 former colleagues before killing himself. Deputies say he had a negative relationship with at least one of his co-workers in Orlando, but they wouldn't say why he was fired 2 months ago.
We are trying to understand as much about him as we possibly can. What I can tell you is that our records indicate that he is a veteran of the U.S. Army, discharged honorably back in 1999. We're trying to understand other issues about him as this investigation moves forward.
And this workplace massacre comes just days before the 1-year anniversary of the Pulse nightclub attack, also in Orlando. In Charlotte County, the murder trial against a man accused of shooting a teen clerk continues today. Michael Russo is charged with second-degree murder and arson in the 2015 death of 18-year-old Kyle Frischian. It happened at a 7-Eleven in Punta Gorda. When searching his home, detectives discovered 2 revolvers, a bulletproof vest, opaque gloves, similar to those found at the crime scene. The state is expected to rest their case, and the defense will begin calling witnesses as soon as this afternoon. An update now to a controversial mural project in a Sarasota city parking garage. Commissioners have now postponed the project. The city parking manager, Mark Lyons, tried directing a $100,000 contract to his son-in-law, who you just saw. Lyons was later demoted.
Once the city administration and city commission found out there was a conflict. We had to review the situation. That's definitely an ethical breach, and the commission was very clear by a 5-0 vote that all of our processes have to be ethical.
The overriding important factor is that everyone knows that there's transparency in our process for selection of the public art pieces.
The city plans to jumpstart the project again in 6 months. Some taxpayers think the $100,000 is too much for murals in a parking garage. A setback for the Robinson Preserve in Manatee County. The governor is reportedly taking away more than $500,000 that would have been going to expand the popular preserve. According to the Bradenton Herald, the governor's reason for blocking the funds is that the preserve has already received funding for similar conservation activities through local, state, and federal grants. For the first few hours of 2018, the Sunshine Skyway Bridge will be closed to traffic. Palmetto commissioners approved their part to close the bridge for 3 hours on New Year's morning for a new Skyway Half Marathon. Runners would start at the southbound Skyway rest area on the north end of the bridge, ascend 200 feet and come south into Palmetto into the Blackstone Park area. The bridge will be closed between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., which organizers say is typically the slowest part of the day and also slow on New Year's Day. The new Skyway Half Marathon is expected to be the newest premier run in the state of Florida. That'd be neat to run across the Skyway.
Well, I am no runner, sir.
Clearly.
But I will tell you, clearly, what does that mean? But I will tell you that my Prius had a difficult time making it to the top of that bridge.
That's a bad sign.
So I don't know.
Yes. Well, I grabbed my sunglasses briefly this morning and then had to put them back where they came from.
Right, yeah.
Not
a lot
today.
of cloud cover around.
Yeah.
We will see, I think, some pretty good rain showers across the area today. Rain chance probably pretty close to 100%. We'll have some showers that are up. We've already seen some showers this morning, but we'll see more of them this afternoon. And some of them, you know, could be quite heavy, could produce a lot of rain in a short period of time. The heaviest of the rain is following north and south of us, and that is likely to be ground zero for some floods, I think, over the course of the next 48 hours. But you can already see some of those showers just off the Gulf waters. Now moving on shore around Fruitville Road and on up through University. Those heavier storms have already produced some rain showers in Sarasota, Manatee, and Sarasota counties. The heaviest of the rain through Lee County, definitely producing some street flooding there. And St. Pete about to get hammered with some pretty heavy thunderstorm activity. Our rain chances excellent, and with that little bit of sunshine that you saw, could help to boost rainfall totals by destabilizing the atmosphere. Yeah, it's possible to get some over 3-inch rainfalls around here a little bit later on this evening and into tomorrow morning. And of course, that could lead to some localized street and urban flooding, that sort of thing. We'll talk about that and what to expect as we head into the next several days. Just a few minutes, right?
Thank you, John. Happening right now, the issue of smoking on county beaches in Sarasota. Commissioners are meeting this afternoon to discuss the current ordinance that prohibits smoking on beaches. The ban was issued in 2012, but has not been enforced since then. The ordinance was challenged, and a judge said it was unenforceable, prompting the county to stop trying to enforce it. Now the county is considering removing the smoking ban altogether, but some people we talked to have mixed emotions.
Being a smoker myself, I believe it's an outdoor place and it's the only place left for people to be able to smoke freely, and I don't think there should be a ban.
I think smoking outdoors is kind of like the one last safe haven for smokers. They can't smoke in any buildings or in any breezeways. But as someone who goes to the beach, I really don't want to see cigarette butts in the sand, and I've got children and I don't want them to really see smoking and think that that's maybe acceptable. So I'm kind of torn.
The county is also proposing adding a new section to the ordinance regarding hours of park use and prohibiting anchoring or docking boats between certain hours as well. Well, today is the final day of school for kids in Sarasota County, and when some Suncoast students go back to school in the fall, they'll notice some special outdoor furniture. Earlier this month, students and staff at Bashaw Elementary School in Manatee County marked the completion of a goal. The school initially set out to raise $1,500, but instead raised $4,000 to buy 4 new wheelchair-accessible picnic tables and 2 buddy benches. The kids began raising the fundraising campaign so disabled students could take part in more outdoor activities with their fellow students. What a nice way to end the school year there. Let's go to the kitchen now. Chef Lindsay is here from Jack Dusty's in Ritz-Carlton. Lindsay, what do you have for us today?
Well, today we're having a lot of fun. We're doing inside out or stuffed s'mores because everybody needs to know how to do this before summer. It's really important to me.
Very important. Good. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School, serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill, I'm creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
Get ready for the most hair-raising event of the summer. Feld Entertainment and the Ringling Museum present international circus superstar Bello Nah in Incredibello, a gravity-defying, laughter-inducing, super stunt performance live at the historic Oslo Theater. Don't miss out on the must-see event of the summer, Incredibello, playing June 13th through July 29th. For tickets, visit ringling.org today.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $249 per month or 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
ABC 7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Currently, we've got 85 degrees as the air temperature. That's about as high as we're going to get today. Dew point. Oh, my goodness, it's thick out there. Dew point 76. That's as thick and as sultry as it gets in the dog days of summer. And all of that moisture is actually not only at the surface where the dew point is reflective, but also all the way up to the top of the atmosphere. This atmosphere over us right now is juicy and just ready to produce all kinds of heavy rain. 80 degrees, Wauchula, Arcadia, Myakka, 83 in Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch at 84. 85, as I mentioned, in Sarasota, but 81 in Longwood Key. 82 degrees in Venice and Inglewood, and 82 in Punta Gorda. We had some heavy rain down through the south, one shower after another over similar locations, really producing tremendous rainfall amounts there and some localized flooding. Now we've got another piece of energy producing some rainfall in the Big Bend region. Heavy rainfall anticipated here from St. Petersburg on up, especially through parts of Cedar Key. Now, these two systems could certainly fill in the gap between areas that were kind of devoid of rain showers during the morning commute. You know, I mentioned that I thought we'd see more rain building as we headed into the mid-morning and afternoon hours, and we're already starting to see that. It is conceivable that the outflow from these two systems could meet in the middle, and we could get a pretty good rainfall event around here. Part of the reason for all of this is an area of low pressure kind of spinning in the upper atmosphere, sending little spokes of energy like a wheel on a conveyor belt, just shooting that energy toward our Gulf Coast. And as it does that, well, it taps into this deep southerly wind flow and pulls up the moisture and gives us that good chance of some very heavy rainfall. Right now, the showers are just too numerous to mention or go over. Suffice it to say, your rain chance today, your individual rain chance today, is very high, about 100%. Now, it won't be an all-day rain, but it will certainly be from time to time, almost any time, almost anywhere, a chance of some rain showers. Look at the rainfall totals already over the last 24. It's pretty impressive, actually. We've got some 3-inch rainfalls, 1/8 of an inch rainfall, 1-inch rainfalls plentiful over the last 3 days, I should say. And that means that the ground has already reduced its ability to absorb moisture. So if we get some heavy rain around here and one shower after another over similar locations, yeah, you can get some street flooding, no doubt about it. Water vapor imagery shows that swirl in the atmosphere lifting north, a broad-scale low-pressure area and its surface reflection moving into the panhandle, producing all of this heavy weather. Now, eventually, that upper low and surface low will track off to the north and to the east and drag a cold front through here, which will stall out in North Florida. That will give a chance for some drier air to try to filter in and give a couple of days of lesser rain chances, probably Thursday and Friday. And then it's all over because that frontal boundary will start to lift north as a warm front and the rain shower activity will start once again. So we are kind of locked into a wet pattern around here that's really going to survive for the better part of the 7-day forecast. Good rain chances today, periods of heavy rain possible, and then some clearing later in the week. The rainfall futurecast shows those showers just one after another over the next several days. And finally, as that front sinks south and kind of stalls out, you'll start to see some clearing come in from the north. Now, the good news is, well, we're going to get some very heavy rainfall. That's also the bad news. Total rainfall amounts through Thursday could exceed 3 to 4 inches. But if you look at the fire danger across the state of Florida, when I left you on Thursday or Friday, the chances for fire was high in many locations. And now look, most everywhere across the state of Florida, the fire danger index is low. So we love to see that. And of course, there's some drought-stricken areas in the central growing regions of Florida that really are just benefiting tremendously from this rainfall. 100% chance of rainfall today, not all the time, but off and on. And then over the next several days till we get a little bit of a break, probably Friday into Saturday, and then the rains start again. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. A recall alert this noon for tuna fish. The USDA is investigating reports of frozen yellowfin tuna steak being tainted by hepatitis A. Most of the shipment went to restaurants in Texas, Oklahoma, and California. No reports in Florida, and so far, no one has gotten sick. When it comes to meals, should you eat smaller and more frequently or bigger meals and not quite as often? Well, many studies suggest eating more frequently and smaller may offer benefits such as fewer calories and perhaps a lower body mass index. But this could be a problem for those who have trouble with portion control, which could make you gain weight instead. Either style can help. What matters most is what will work for you. And this is a story for wine lovers out of Washington State, where they are fermenting in concrete eggs. For the past 8 years, the winemaker Columbia Crest has been fermenting his bubbly from concrete eggs, as well as tulips and pyramids. Most are imported from France. Unlike fermenting in an oak barrel, he says the concrete helps to focus on the fruit and the characteristics created by the vineyard in which they're grown.
So it keeps the purity of the fruit, and as winemakers, that's all you want to do. You want to represent what's unique about the place where you grow your grapes. You have the same amount of oxygen going through the vessel and allowing textural development, but you don't have any aromas that will mask what makes those wines unique.
Columbia Crest is one of the largest wineries in the Northwest. The owner hopes that concrete fermented wines will be a trend in stores soon. Some incoming freshmen at Harvard have had their admissions revoked. We'll tell you what they did. And some pro soccer players are rallying around a young girl with short hair. We'll explain.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Be careful what you post on social media. Some students recently accepted to Harvard learned that in a life-changing way. Adrienne Bankert explains.
Harvard is renowned for accepting only the best and brightest. But this morning, the dark side of an online student chat room started by some incoming freshmen has caused administrators to revoke their admissions. The university's own paper, the Harvard Crimson, reports that a group of 10 students accepted to the class of 2021 and meeting on the college's official Facebook page created an alternative page full of memes containing provocative and derogatory images and captions. The content too offensive to show, with R-rated memes poking fun at topics like the Holocaust, sexual assault, and targeting ethnic groups, one allegedly calling the fictional hanging of a Mexican child Piñata Time. The Crimson reporting that incoming students who wanted to join the R-rated chat had to first post something offensive in another group dedicated to mostly lighthearted memes. Wyatt Hurt is one of the school's newly admitted freshmen.
I haven't heard really any dissent on people saying that this was the wrong thing to do. It's definitely reassuring that as Harvard, as a society, we still stand by the moral values that we were built on.
Harvard admissions even posting on the class of 2021's Facebook group description that they have the right to withdraw an offer of admission if an admitted student engages in behavior that brings into question his or her honesty, maturity, or moral character. While many are in support of Harvard's decision, including students, some proponents of free speech are criticizing Harvard for punishing those who posted on the chat room on their own time. Adrienne Bankert, ABC News, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
We have some breaking weather news now. Here's meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. I just wanted to point out that we have some strong storms out there. We have the possibility of some flooding rains, but in particular, this one cell right here has a special marine warning that has been issued for it. Now, aside from the fact that it has lots of lightning pops associated with it, and it's located about 15 miles to the southwest of Siesta Key, it also has a shear marker located right there, an indication that this system could certainly have the potential to produce a water spout. So we'll watch for that as it makes a very fast track for areas around Siesta Key, Lido Key, down even as far south as Minnesota. So we'll watch it very carefully as it gets closer to shore in about 15 minutes. Just want to warn you specifically if you have cell phones and can text your mariner friends who might be out in these rough waters, which I hope they're not because there's a small craft advisory up. But if they are and they're in the vicinity of this area and you know that, you might want to just go ahead and text them or call them and let them know that there's a very strong thunderstorm cell in the vicinity vicinity that has the potential, does have some rotation at this time, has some shear in the winds that has the potential of producing a water spout. We'll be watching this as it gets closer and update you on whether or not this shear holds together, and we could have a possible water spout situation. Back to you, Ray.
Thank you, John. Former U.S. soccer stars are lending their support to a young girl who was disqualified from a tournament because officials say she looked like a boy. Abby Wambach and Mia Hamm are among those getting behind 8-year-old Millie Hernandez. Her team had advanced to the finals of a youth soccer tournament in Omaha, Nebraska, but they were disqualified after a misprint in the team's roster identified Hernandez as a boy.
The president of the tournament said that we made our decision and we wouldn't change it. And we had we had her insurance card, and then we had a paper from when she was 5. And it said that female on both of them.
There was no point of everybody getting kicked off. Some of us could have stayed and start playing.
Pro player Abby Wambach took to social media about the incident, saying she's won championships with her own short haircut and wants to meet Millie, and Mia Hamm has invited her to one of her soccer camps. The Stanley Cup final is now tied at 2 games apiece. The Predators beat the Penguins last night 4-1 in Nashville. The game was tied 1-1 until Frederick Gaudreau beat Matt Murray early in the second period. The Predators outscored the Penguins 9-2 in the 2 games at Nashville after Pittsburgh won the first 2 games at home. Exciting series, and Game 5 is Thursday in Pittsburgh. I'm excited too. We'll have more news after this. Stay with us.
If you're trying to balance caring for your mother and being a mother to your children, we can help. It's what we do. Call Granny Nannies today.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School, serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
My dad is my hero, and I wanted to give him a chance to live life and be happy. Granny Nannies has been a huge help. It has contributed to the health and happiness of my dad, for sure.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Some breaking news developing right now in Paris. A police officer shot and injured a man who attacked him with a hammer outside the Notre Dame Cathedral. It's being called counterterrorism. Police have sealed off the area in front of the cathedral where the attacker is reportedly lying injured on the ground. So far, no other injuries have been reported. Today's attack in France is the latest targeting security officers. In April, an attacker opened fire on a police van on the Champs-Élysées, killing one and wounding two others. That attacker was shot dead by police. Another suspect under arrest in the wake of last weekend's terror attack in London. We're also learning more about one of them who is well known to police. ABC's Ariel Reshef is in London with the latest.
New images today of the three men responsible for the murderous melee in London on Saturday night. This morning, British police releasing the identity of the third suspect, Moroccan-born Italian citizen Youssef Zagba. The terror rampage was masterminded by this man, Karam Butt, known to authorities for years.
Someone had an ISIS-looking flag on them.
Why are you touching him for?
An extremist advocating for strict Sharia law, but was featured in a British Channel 4 documentary called The Jihadist Next Door. He was detained by police, accusing them of discrimination.
Because he's white and he's English, he can go, but all of us that were just praying, we have to stay.
ABC News has learned Butt worked for the London transport system. The three assailants were shot dead by police within 8 minutes on Saturday night in an unprecedented hail of gunfire, but not before they managed to run over and stab 7 people to death and wound nearly 50. In London this morning, a moment of silence for the victims. Among them, Canadian Chrissy Archibald, Australian Kirsty Bowden, and Londoner James McMullen.
While our pain will never diminish, it is important for us to all carry on with our lives in direct opposition to those who would try to destroy us.
Neighbors say they called to warn police about Karam Butt's radical behavior. Scotland Yard now saying they are reevaluating their strategies. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, London.
It's a moment that took place 73 years ago today that President Eisenhower quoted the hour of your liberation, June 6, 1944. More than 160,000 Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, France. D-Day is considered a turning point in World War II as Allied forces overwhelmed their German counterparts. It also began the liberation of German-occupied Western Europe and the takedown of Adolf Hitler. Over 425,000 troops died on this day. While some veterans prefer to forget the horrors of war, others believe their bravery should be exhibited on days like this to inspire a nation. Other news now, the search for a missing girl in North Florida comes to a tragic end. The body of 12-year-old Naomi Jones was found yesterday in a creek just miles from her home in Pensacola. She disappeared last week. Hundreds of law enforcement, community members, and classmates searched for her, hoping for better news. No arrests have been made, but her death is being looked at as a homicide. She marked her 12th birthday last month and was looking forward to starting middle school. Also in Florida, deputies in Polk County investigating the fatal shooting of a man during a traffic stop last night. The sheriff's office says a deputy clocked a motorcyclist going 112 miles per hour. He pulled him over, and the sheriff's office says the man pulled a gun from his waist and the deputy shot him. Deputies say 34-year-old Quentin Case had an extensive criminal history and an active warrant for his arrest for parole violation. It's one of those videos you have to see and then watch again. A woman is caught on video stealing money from a tip jar. In fact, you can see her walking up to the cashier and asking to have a sample of food. When the cashier turns around, the lady opens her purse and puts the tip jar inside, walks out the front door. The video was posted on Facebook and has had millions of views in just 24 hours. She was caught and arrested, and we are glad to hear that. Let's get back to that weather forecast now. John had some alarming news moments ago.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're getting some storms out there that have the potential to produce some severe weather, and we have a special marine warning that's up for another 10 minutes for our coastal region. So, you know, good news, I suppose. The strength and severity of this storm seems to have become less as we've gone through the last 10 minutes. Still, we had a good, strong shear marker out there. Yeah. So We may have had a funnel cloud, may have had a water spout way out there in the Gulf waters. It's possible. Certainly, a lot of rain is also a possibility today. We're seeing very heavy rainfall just to the south. Lee, Collier County seeing some very heavy rainfall. Now moving in toward Pinellas County, the potential for some heavier rain as well. We're starting to fill in that gap between the rain showers to the south of us and the rain showers to the north of us. Now, we had that one little cell that was located just off the coastline, and it still has some rotational shear marker associated with it moving in just to the north of Osprey. We'll continue to watch that storm. It certainly could produce some small hail or whatever, but if you look at the history of the hail tracks associated with it, it certainly had a much better signature about 10 minutes ago when we came on and told you about that storm. So gladly it is weakening a little bit, still capable of producing some gusty winds as it moves on shore right there, as well as some pretty heavy downpours of rain. We're also watching that cluster of storms out in Gulf waters just to our north heading towards St. Petersburg. That could build southward with time and produce some fairly heavy rainfall in parts of northern Manatee County. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Busy weather day. We'll talk more about the forecast coming up in a few, Ray.
All right, you are indeed busy. Thank you, John. Day 2 is underway in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial. And as ABC's Lindsay Davis tells us, Cosby used a high-profile friend to talk to the press outside the court on day 1.
Right at Bill Cosby's side for his first day of court, Keisha Knight Pulliam, who played the youngest daughter, Rudy, on The Cosby Show.
Thank you, Daddy.
It was just really important for me to be here to show my support for Mr. Cosby. At the end of the day, it's the jury's job to discern the truth.
Cosby was very engaged and attentive in court, often facing the jury during opening arguments. Prosecutors say this case is about trust, betrayal, and the inability to consent, while the defense argues that Andrea Constand, the former Temple University employee who says Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her, has changed her story multiple times, pointing out that after initially telling detectives she never reached out to Cosby after the 2004 incident, phone logs indicate she called him 53 times. Cosby says the encounter was consensual, and while the 79-year-old has been accused by more than 50 women of drugging and or sexual misconduct, jurors will only hear from 2 accusers in this case. On Monday, a former assistant to Cosby's agent cried as she painstakingly testified that in 1996, Cosby made her take a pill that she said made her feel like she was underwater before sexually assaulting her. But Cosby's attorney pounced, drawing attention to multiple inconsistencies in her story, claiming she had selective amnesia. The prosecution's first witness today is a forensic toxicologist. Based on the prosecution's opening statement, they're likely to testify that the symptoms that Andrea Constand experienced after taking the pills from Bill Cosby, that they were consistent with the ingestion of Benadryl or Quaaludes. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
New at noon in consumer news now, complaints about the Jeep Liberty SUVs. The airbag control computers, and some of them can reportedly fail and prevent the system from operating in a crash. An investigation by national safety experts covers more than 100,000 vehicles from the 2012 model year. So far, fortunately, no injuries have been reported. Apple may have found a way to stop texting while driving. The tech giant is coming out with a new iPhone feature called Do Not Disturb while driving. The notifications are activated when the iPhone is connected to a car via cable or Bluetooth, or if the car is moving. If someone texts you while driving, the phone will send that person an instant message saying you are driving and can't respond at that moment. Amazon looking to make it easier on those who receive government benefits. Anyone who receives assistance from the federal government will get discounts on their Prime membership. For $5.99 a month, you can get free shipping and unlimited streaming of movies and TV shows with Prime Video. Usually it costs $10.99 for those same benefits. To qualify, you must receive assistance through supplemental nutrition assistance programs or food stamps. All right, John, as a 5-star chef in the kitchen, let's go back and have details right now. Guys, take it away.
Lindsay joins us now from, where are you from today? Jack Dusty?
I'm from Jack Dusty.
All right.
Carlton, Sarasota. Bring
awesome.
it on.
And you are making It's like, I feel like we're at a 5-star campfire is what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
You're making inside-out s'mores?
Yes, because regular s'mores we do that every summer, right?
Yes.
So now we're going to do it a little different. We're going to stuff them, okay? And everybody's done this at some point in time. You just don't really think about it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the filling, which is just ganache. And the word ganache, I feel like really intimidates people.
Yes.
It sounds fancy. You go to restaurants, they say, ooh, it's got ganache on it.
Yes.
It's got 3 ingredients. Really, I know. Don't tell anybody. This Taste Your Chef secret. So it's got heavy cream and butter, which I've just brought to a scald. It's bubbling a little. It doesn't have to be a big rolling boil, because if you've ever boiled cream, that means
And a scald is important, right? That's where it gets a little foam on top there?
Absolutely. Gets a little foam, the butter melts. Right. And then I'm using a nice 60% chocolate. I like a dark chocolate, but once you get up to 70, 72, it can be a little bitter. And I'm always playing the mom card, but my kids will not do bitter chocolate. They like milk chocolate. No. So I have a nice 60% chocolate.
You must have like the happiest kids in the world.
No, I don't feed them this stuff. No, I get in trouble.
Sure you do.
If you ask my daughter, she'll just be like, my mom never, ever lets me eat sweets. So you pour the hot cream and butter over the chocolate. You let it sit for a few minutes. And if you would like to keep stirring
I would be happy to. I'm loving this already.
Don't eat it all. I know you.
No, you do know me.
You tend to do these things.
I do.
And while you're doing that, the first thing that's really fun on a s'mores, you can use a regular graham cracker. I put a recipe up on the website for a homemade graham cracker.
Nice.
They're a little bit thicker, they're a little bit softer. It makes them easier to eat. They don't crumble apart. And they are no harder to make than a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, okay.
So you just have to roll them out and cut them. I've done nice big squares. I cut my squares big enough to hold 4 marshmallows because I like a serious s'more. Are you already eating?
Stop.
Look at this. Look what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so for the marshmallow part, how would you stuff a marshmallow? How are you going to stuff that?
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit, no. You start with your blowtorch. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, use a campfire. Use a campfire. So I have my little indoor blowtorch, and I am just going to scald the outside of this and give it a little chutzpah. I tried to use the downgraded stuff, not the industrial blowtorch on TV.
How'd that work?
It's slower. I'm working on it. So the first thing, for the inside-out s'mores, I don't know if anyone likes the burnt outsides, but I really like a really toasty marshmallow. But when you do that, you toast that marshmallow and you leave the skewer in, and you can just pull that center out.
Magic!
How cool is that?
Wow!
So I keep the centers and I put them up on the side. So you got to keep that for later. And you take that little marshmallow shell.
That was really cool.
And once you let the ganache sit out a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. It's just going to be half gone by the time we finish this.
Sleeping on the job.
Once the ganache cools down, it's going to be nice and thick. And so I put it in a pastry bag, or you can use the cut tip of a deli sandwich bag. And you just fill in that marshmallow.
How cool is that?
Just like that.
Right.
And you do that over and over. You add in your marshmallows, and you get this beautiful s'more sandwich. On these size graham crackers I made, I can fit 4 fully stuffed marshmallows on here.
Yes, you can.
And then you give it its little lid.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do the honors?
That's what I'm talking about. Bring that baby right over here.
Now you have to smush it, and I want to see you do this justice.
I'm going to try, but before I do that, I have to remind everybody the recipe is on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining link page, and Lindsay's video instructions will be there, as well as the recipe list and everything you need to make this work beautifully. Lindsay, thanks so much. Always a treat.
Always
no
a
pun
pleasure to be
intended.
here. And if you need extra marshmallow, I've got lots of extra skewers here.
Okay.
That's a lot of chocolate.
Let you know in a moment or two here. We'll be right back.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
So just off the top, let me let you know that that thunderstorm that we were talking about earlier that had the indications of rotation and some pretty strong shear markers indicating, possible rotation, maybe waterspout activity or whatever. It had a special marine warning associated with it, and that has been allowed to expire. As we mentioned in about 10 minutes ago, that system as it approached land weakened significantly. Thank goodness. So that particular risk is over. 82 degrees current air temperature. Now the rains are starting to cool things off just a little bit. 3 degrees inside of an hour. 75 the dew point. That is so thick, so steamy. Southwest wind continues briskly at about 16. Now, one thing that southwest wind will do, as brisk as it is coming in off Gulf waters, is to raise the tide heights just a little bit. So we'll have a higher than average tide, particularly to the north of us. But even in our area, I think we'll probably see a foot, 3/4 of a foot above our normal astronomical high. Not a big deal, but interesting. 78 degrees in Wauchula, 80 degrees in Arcadia, Mayaca at 83, Parrish at 84, Bradenton at 83, 81 Longboat Key, 82 Sarasota, 84s in Venice and Inglewood, and 85 in Northport. Man, there's a lot of rain down to our south. They are just getting hit so hard. Collier County and Lee County even, but particularly Collier County, just one big storm after another. It's definitely got some flooding going on there. St. Petersburg in line for some pretty good storminess over the course of the next half hour or so, and we've even had our own flavor of storms around here to be concerned about, as we mentioned just now. Spinning area of low pressure, part of a broader scale upper level rotation, continuing to move toward the panhandle of the state. That system right there, a month from now, would have given a little bit more concern, I think. But certainly it's kind of an unusual pattern to have here at the beginning of rainy season, to have that kind of upper level low feature bringing just so much moisture our way and producing such a large rainfall amount. The drought will probably be over after this week. We'll see how it plays out. But anyway, this is the one storm system that we were warning for earlier in terms of special marine warnings, but certainly there are multiple other cells, and one big one just off the coast heading towards St. Pete that bears watching. Throughout the afternoon, we could have these storms popping up that might have the potential for some rotation waterspout activity, certainly the potential for some strong gusty winds as they move onshore. And if we get one after another moving over the same location, we could absolutely get some street flooding, and it would probably be about the drive time or thereafter that we start to have the maximum risk, enter into that maximum risk for the potential of some urban street flooding. That low moves off to the north and to the east, creates a frontal boundary that stalls out, allows for a brief period of reduced rainfall chances Friday into Saturday, and then that front lifts north as a warm front, and the rain chances go back up again. So the extended range forecast calls for good rain chances today, followed by rain chances again tomorrow and Thursday, a slight dry out Friday and Saturday, then more rain on Sunday and Monday. Quite something, Ray.
Wow, a lot of rain these days. Thank you, John. You can live here for years and still not be aware of all the unusual nooks and crannies here on the Suncoast. Our Linda Carson found a full-size castle deep in the woods in a place we call home.
Solomon's Castle sits in the woods about 54 miles east of downtown Sarasota. Artist Howard Solomon built it. His daughter Elaine Solomon grew up here.
That's my bedroom up there, that third floor. I've lived here all my life.
Her father bought this property in 1970.
It was not till later that he realized we were in the bottom of a Florida swamp. So he realized he had to start building up instead of out. And because he's an artist, his artistic flavor fell over into his architecture. He says it was his largest sculpting.
For 18 years, he worked mostly alone to build the castle and the Boat in the Moat restaurant next door. Why a castle?
He said a tower here, a turret there, before you know it, you have a castle.
Living quarters are on the second and third floors, and his art is displayed on the first floor. He worked mostly with recycled materials.
He built anything from serious pieces that have heartfelt meanings to very comedic pieces. He would make a joke out of anything because he said if you could laugh, then you don't have to cry.
Crowds of curiosity seekers came to peek at the castle in the woods. At first, Solomon gave them free tours. Now you can walk the grounds free, but there's a slight charge for the guided castle tour. But what a thrill it is! All of Solomon's art has meaning, like these windows.
So the virtues, this top one is generosity, the next one is knowledge, the third one is a mirror, it's truth, and the bottom one, the owl, is wisdom.
Everywhere, room after room, there's something to surprise and delight you.
The chandelier was given to him from someone, and it was all in pieces in a box. He put it back together.
Howard Solomon passed away last year. He was 81 years old.
Dad left us truly with a legacy here. Almost 50 years of his blood, sweat, and tears went into this place. He loved the environment. He truly believed, in recycling, repurposing, and reusing. His artwork was his way of inspiring other people.
And before you leave, make sure you have lunch in the Boat in the Moat. The food is incredible, and the atmosphere you won't find anywhere else. Solomon's Castle is open from October 1st through August 1st, and it's a sight you've got to see to believe. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Interesting place, 54 miles east of Sarasota. Entertainment news when we come back.
SRQ Performance Parts provides parts and accessories from over 300 manufacturers, so you can get that new manifold, carburetor, gasket, bolt kit, or nitrous oxide system fast. We'll help you beat the competition. Call or visit SRQ Performance Parts online today for all your high-performance parts and advice.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. Do you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get 1 more free. Call today.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
loading my weapon, I slaughter my prey. 2,000 cash, I'll be rolling in dough. So hey, you big monster, come out from below. So hey, you big monster, come out from below.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Al Pacino will star in an HBO movie as Joe Paterno, Penn State's legendary football coach whose legacy was clouded by the school's child sex abuse scandal. Pacino is known for playing controversial figures such as Phil Spector, Roy Cohn, and Jack Kevorkian.
I feel like such a tramp, taking jewelry from a man under false pretenses.
Get it while you're young.
Finally, after 60 years, the comedy Some Like It Hot is coming back to theaters. Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis disguised themselves as women after they witnessed a murder in Chicago, a mafia murder. Marilyn Monroe also stars in this movie. More than 600 theaters will show it this Sunday, June 11th, and next Wednesday as well. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, part of Phantom Events. They always have some really great shows. They had one last weekend. They showed The Godfather. My
Is that right?
wife and I and son went to see that.
They said to Marilyn, do you play the market? She said, no, the ukulele.
But a boom.
Clever movie. Anyway, the wet stuff continues outside?
Indeed it does, and at times it could be heavy. Drive time home this evening could be a real sloppy mess.
Okay, good morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Good Morning Suncoast.